Good evening, friends. Meteorologist Delaney Willis here with an update, your Weather Authority alert day that we do have in place for both today and tomorrow. Now, keeping an eye on the Storm Prediction Center's outlook. This has been changed a little bit throughout the day today. Now, majority of our viewing area is now still in that slight risk, which is this yellow zone right here. And this is why we are watching the potential for severe weather tomorrow. Damaging winds likely, tornadoes and isolated tornadoes and hail are still a possibility. So this is why we do have that Weather Authority alert day that is in place. A very potent storm system is now moving across the area and headed our way. Southeast has been pummeled today with a lot of severe weather, tornadoes, damaging wind gusts, even hail. Now tomorrow we still have the potential for isolated tornadoes. Wind is going to be one of the bigger threats. Isolated hail, of course. But I also wanted to give you a more zoomed out glance of the slight risk, not just for us, but majority of the state of Virginia, majority of North Carolina, South Carolina, even into Georgia and Florida. This stretching a lot of the East Coast is going to be with this threat. And this is where this cold front is going to be passing through the area tomorrow. This is what we're looking at in terms of threats, tornado, hail, and lightning. Of course, isolated potentials for the tornado and hail is not non-zero, so we are going to keep a close eye on that. This system that is headed for us had a history of producing tornadoes and hail, of course. Lightning, frequent lightning, a possibility with this system. Wind is a higher chance that we're going to be seeing damaging winds. Power outage is also a possibility. Now, flooding a little bit lower end, but there is a lot of moisture that is in this system. Now, right now, we are still very dry, completely dry across the viewing area, but I'm going to go and I'm going to pop over to a different screen here, and we're going to look at the broader view here. Now, this is associated with the cold front. This system right here that you're seeing, this is what is associated with the front that is headed our way, and it will get here very late tonight into early tomorrow morning. By about 3 to 4 a.m., we'll start to see the effects and hear the effects, if we do hear a few rumbles of thunder. Now, all of this red, this swath of red right here, these are where tornado watches are in place. We do have that. It is in place for the next couple of hours for portions of, as well as Louisiana, Mississippi, as well as Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia. Now, what we're looking at right now, actually, for the first time in quite a while, no active tornado warnings, no active tornado emergencies within the states of Mississippi and Alabama. Now, this is moving a little bit further north. So now in Tennessee, we do have that one tornado warning about 7:30. That does expire for Hamilton. Another one for Cumberland, Tennessee, 7:15. But these storms, this is just the national radar site. So we are not seeing the detail of these storms, and you can't really get down to the nitty-gritty of the rotation. But these are significantly rotating storms with, of course, hail that is associated with these. A lot of frequent lightning as well. If we turn on that lightning layer, we can see the history of lightning even with the storm. A lot. And this is what is headed our way tomorrow. Now, these storms that will move further to the south, there is potential that they will be so strong that we may see a little bit of that fuel taken away, that we might not get as heavily impacted by this as much as the strength. But we are still keeping a very close eye on the afternoon hours tomorrow with this system, because we know that this does have a history of producing tornadoes, hail, and damaging wind gusts, as well as heavy rainfall. Now, getting back to our area, wind alerts that are in place, this runs from midnight tonight until 2 a.m. on Sunday, and this is for the entirety of our viewing area. Now, Pocahontas, as well as Highland and Nelson counties, the entirety of the counties are not included. Those are 3 counties in our viewing area where it's not the entire county, it's just those higher elevations within the counties. Majority of us, NRV, Roanoke, Southside, Lynchburg, and majority of the Highlands even still included in this wind advisory. Now, we're looking at wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour throughout the overnight hours and into the day tomorrow. So right now, we're still seeing wind speeds that are moving along at a pretty good pace, at least this afternoon, and this will continue to strengthen overnight tonight. Now, right now, we're still in about that 20, 25 mile an hour gust range. And of course, as higher elevations do have those higher values into portions of the NRV as well as Highland Zone. However, overnight tonight, this is when we will see those numbers increase as the cold front gets closer towards our area. So this is a closer look. About 30 mile an hour wind gust is waking up tomorrow morning. And that is going to continue to increase throughout the afternoon hours, of course, as that weather maker is on our doorstep. We are going to see 2 rounds tomorrow, so let's time all of this out on Futurecast. I'm actually going to just go into this, and we're going to scrub through this frame by frame here, because this timing is going to be important. Now, you'll see this is the system, this is the mess that the Southeast has been dealing with, and this is headed our way tomorrow. Now, by about midnight to 1 a.m., that is when we begin to see really the beginnings of this rain. Very, very light rain moving into the area. Again, we're not getting into the yellows and oranges just yet. That's still Kentucky's problem. But by about 3 to 4 a.m., this is when we begin to see a little bit of those pockets of heavier rainfall that will move into parts of southwest Virginia. And as this heads our way a little bit later on in the morning hours, this is when that stronger line comes through. In this model right here depicting potential for hail in this line currently by about 6 a.m. on Sunday. And this, as this marches through, you'll notice this first line that's pretty well organized by about 7 to 8 a.m. Again, parts of the NRV, as well as the Roanoke zone and moving into Southside and Highlands. Now, as this heads on through, of course, we have that line that moves through Southside, really seeing that in Southside, Lynchburg, and Roanoke by about 9 to 10 a.m. Highlands as well. NRV starting to see a little more scattered, just really behind that front. Now, on the other side of it, this is what I want to draw your attention to. And even just in the last couple model runs, this has backed off just a bit, but still worth mentioning these very, very isolated pop-ups right here. This is the nature that we're looking at. Now, once this passes through, and as this passes through, even for the early evening hours, you'll notice this is 6 p.m. Now, typically we're watching the prime time hours with daytime heating, 3 to 5 p.m. for these stronger storm events, but still, remember, 6 o'clock, sun's still up this time of year. And we still have a lot of daytime heating, a lot of energy in the area. These very isolated storms that are moving into a very favorable environment because, of course, we have the front that we're moving on the other side of it. But look at this right here. Cloud cover breaking apart, sunshine moving in. Temperatures will be in the 70s tomorrow, and it could get a little bit muggy, a little bit more humid. Dew points will be on the rise, of course, as we have this moving through the area. Now, all of this, all these ingredients, along with that very strong front, the forcing mechanism, this is all we need for a pretty strong storm system. So that is, of course, to be taken into consideration with the very isolated instances of those pop-up thunderstorms for tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, early evening hours, and even throughout 10, 11 o'clock. We're not really done until 1 a.m. on Monday. And we, of course, see that front moving off the coast. I-95 corridor is experiencing the heavier rainfall at that time, but that will be out of our hair. So the 2 rounds we're looking at early tomorrow morning, about 5 to 6 a.m., that is beginning or wrapping up afternoon hours. The more sunshine we see in between the initial front passing through and the isolated instances of those discrete supercells that are moving in about 2, 3, 4 p.m. and even 5 to 6 in some of our zones, the more sunshine that those receive, that's the more fuel we have in the atmosphere. So we are looking to see a lot more cloud cover that will really mitigate our severe risk for the afternoon hours. Now, you'll notice Monday, we're clear, we're dry. It's going to be absolutely stunning. We'll get a break from all of this mess, so we will still see those dry conditions as we head throughout the day on Monday. So that's the timeline we're looking at. Now let's quick jump to our high temperatures for the day tomorrow, and it looks like that graphic. Okay, here we go. High temperatures are going to be above average significantly in the 60s and 70s, anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees above average. So it is going to be hot, it is going to be muggy, and that is bringing a lot of fuel for these storms. Let's take a look at our 7-day. 70s, we're going to go right back to that, hit the button too quickly. 70s and 60s for high temperatures. A warm week is ahead. Of course, that alert day in place for your Sunday. And we are watching that potential. Once again, 2 lines for hail as well as isolated instances of tornadoes, gusty winds, as well as heavy rainfall. All threats are in play for the day tomorrow.